Hey, it's great to have you back. Today, I want to dive into something I've been thinking a lot about, numerology, and its surprising connection to financial success. I know it might sound a little out there at first, but stay with me on this. I've personally found that looking at numbers in a deeper way, especially birth dates, has a strange, almost magnetic way of aligning with opportunities. And if we're talking October, there's an extra layer of energy that can be tapped into. Let's walk through it together. Have you ever noticed how certain numbers seem to pop up in your life repeatedly, almost as if they're trying to tell you something? I'm not talking about coincidences, but patterns, dates when major things happen, when decisions feel right, or when a particular opportunity seems perfectly timed. There's a rhythm to this, especially in specific months like October. I've found that the energy shifts around this time, and it's not just me. Buddhist teachings, combined with numerology, suggest there's something more at play, particularly when it comes to financial well-being. So, let's break this down. If you're born under certain numbers, those digits might carry unique energies. They could align with the universe to help guide you toward the right financial moves. It's not magic, but more like an ancient map that's been used for centuries. Take the number 2, for example. If you were born under this number, you're naturally drawn toward partnerships. This month, October, is the perfect time to collaborate. Think of iconic pairs like Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. They combined their skills and built something that changed the world. If you've been mulling over a joint venture or even considering a financial move with someone whose strengths complement yours, now is the time to dive in. There's this cosmic energy encouraging cooperation, which can really amplify your efforts. It's not just about hustling hard. It's about working smart, with others. Now, for those of you born under the number 4, this is where the grit comes in. People with this number are naturally hardworking and disciplined. October's energy is your ally right now, pushing you to build something that lasts. I can't help but think of Warren Buffett here. The guy didn't get rich overnight. He built his empire slowly, making smart, calculated moves. If you're a number 4, this is your time to dig in, roll up your sleeves, and focus on projects that require patience. It's not glamorous, but the rewards will be solid and long-lasting. Think long-term wealth, not just quick wins. Now let's talk about the number 9. If you were born under this number, you're at the end of a cycle, which is a powerful place to be. October is the month to close chapters, whether it's tying up old financial loose ends or finishing up that project you've been dragging along. I think about Bill Gates here. He stepped away from Microsoft to focus on philanthropy, a whole new chapter. For you, this might mean paying off debts, clearing up old financial baggage, or even giving back to others. In Buddhist tradition, generosity is a cornerstone of prosperity. Give without expecting anything in return, and you might find unexpected rewards coming your way. Now, if you're born under the number 19, October could be your month to take some bold, independent strides. This energy feels like Elon Musk when he decided to go all in on Tesla and SpaceX. It's a time to trust your gut, to take risks, and to push forward with your vision. Maybe you're thinking about launching something solo, or perhaps you're ready to step into a leadership role. Whatever it is, October is supercharged with a go big or go home kind of vibe for you. Trust yourself and be bold. And for those born under number 12, it's all about harmony and balance this October. You're naturally good at finding equilibrium, and that's a huge strength in the financial realm. Look at someone like Oprah. She's built a media empire while keeping her personal life in check. This month, your task is to reorganize and realign. Take a moment to review your finances. Maybe invest in something that increases your knowledge. Financial literacy courses, consultations, things like that. The goal is to set up a solid, balanced foundation for the future. For the adaptable folks under number 14, October is about embracing change. If you've ever admired the rise of someone like Jeff Bezos, you know that flexibility is key to success. This month, be ready for the unexpected. Whether it's a career shift or a surprise investment opportunity, don't hesitate to pivot when the moment feels right. Your strength is in your ability to adjust, and this October, that adaptability is going to pay off. Finally, For those born under number 22, this is the master builder energy. Think big: real estate, long-term investments, projects that require vision and patience. Jay-Z comes to mind as someone who built an empire from the ground up. October's energy for you is about manifesting those big dreams, but remember, nothing worth having comes easy. Stay patient, trust the process, and focus on building something that's going to last. So, there you have it. Different numbers, different energies, all aligning in a powerful way this October. It's fascinating how these ancient teachings can still apply to our modern financial lives, guiding us through decisions, partnerships, and personal growth. It's funny how October always feels like a reset for me. It's that time of year when things start to shift. And it's not just the weather. I've noticed that when I declutter, both mentally and physically, things start to align in my life. If you think about it, our surroundings and the energy we carry with us can either block or open up opportunities, especially when it comes to finances. I remember once hearing about Marie Kondo's approach, and it clicked for me, not just in terms of organizing my home, but how it could apply to my financial life too. I cleared out unnecessary stuff from my workspace and found that the less cluttered my space was, the clearer my thoughts became. This simple act of decluttering allowed me to focus on my financial goals, and decisions started flowing much more easily. It's almost as if clearing out the old made way for new opportunities to enter. One thing I've learned, and maybe you've felt this too, is that clarity brings success. It's not just about having some vague notion of wanting more money or hoping things will turn around. It's about setting specific, actionable goals. October is this perfect window of time when the energy is ripe for doing exactly that. I've started setting financial goals for myself around this time every year, whether it's saving for something big or planning out my investments for the next quarter. It's like the universe responds when you get specific. There's a real power in intention. Here's another little trick I picked up. Scheduling important financial tasks around numbers that feel right. It sounds a bit strange, but numerology plays into this more than we think. There are certain numbers that just carry stronger energy, and even if you don't buy into all the spiritual side of it, there's something to be said about how those small, intentional choices can add up. When I have to make important financial decisions, I pick dates that align with numbers I feel connected to, like the 8th or 22nd. It's subtle, but it works for me. It's about creating harmony between your intentions and the energy around you. And while we're on the topic of alignment, I have to mention generosity. It's probably one of the most underrated financial strategies. I didn't always understand this, but over time I've realized how giving opens up doors you never even knew existed. Buddhist teachings often speak to this idea of giving without expecting anything in return. And at first, it felt counterintuitive to me. Like, why give away money when you're trying to build it? But there's a certain flow to generosity. The more I gave, the more things just seemed to come back to me, whether it was opportunities, connections, or even unexpected financial windfalls. It's not about karma in the traditional sense, but more about the energy you put out. October is this beautiful reminder that the universe responds when we align our actions with our goals. Yes, numerology might tell us which numbers carry more weight, but at the end of the day, it's about how you choose to engage with that energy. I've seen people hustle without a plan, hoping for things to magically fall into place, and then I've seen those who trust the process, plan, and stay consistent. Guess who ends up succeeding in the long run? Take it from me, wealth doesn't just appear because you wish for it. It's built over time, through conscious effort, smart decisions, and a little bit of trust in the universe. For me, the key lesson has always been patience. Just like a good investment, sometimes you've got to give it time, nurture it, and let it grow. When I think about how zodiac signs or numerology might influence this process, I don't see it as fate. I see it as a guide, a subtle nudge in the right direction. I've always found that the last few months of the year are when things start to make sense, especially financially. It's like the universe gives us this energetic boost to help us either wrap things up or set the foundation for something new. If you're like me, you've probably felt this shift around October, when everything seems to get clearer and there's this subtle push to make moves. It's not about rushing, though. It's about aligning yourself with that energy and trusting that whatever you've been working on will come together. Take Leo, for instance. Leos thrive on attention and recognition, and this time of year seems to amplify that natural charisma. I've known people who, like Emily, have been grinding away quietly for years, only to have a huge opportunity land in their lap right around October. It's not just luck. It's the result of their confidence, their ability to stay ready for the spotlight when it comes. And when it does, they seize it, leveraging that moment for long-term gains. What's interesting about Leo energy is that it reminds us all that sometimes success isn't just about hard work. It's about being bold enough to step into the spotlight when the time is right. Now, Scorpio, on the other hand, plays the game differently. It's all about strategy with them. I've always admired how Scorpios seem to have this ability to see what others miss. David, a friend of mine who's a Scorpio, is a master at spotting trends that everyone else is too distracted to notice. He's the kind of guy who doesn't panic when the market shifts. Instead, he thrives on those moments of chaos, calmly analyzing and making smart moves that pay off big later. What's cool about Scorpio energy is that it shows us the importance of staying calm and using our intuition. It's not about reacting to every little thing. It's about looking beneath the surface and trusting your instincts. Then there's Capricorn, the sign that embodies ambition and persistence. If there's anyone who knows how to play the long game, it's a Capricorn. I've seen people like Laura, who has worked her way up for years, finally get that promotion or financial breakthrough just as the year is wrapping up. It's not surprising. It's the culmination of their relentless pursuit of success. For Capricorns, the final months of the year are a reminder that all that hard work really does pay off. It's inspiring because it shows that while some people might chase quick wins, real success is built over time through discipline and staying the course. What I find fascinating about all of this is that while these zodiac signs each have their strengths, the lessons they offer are universal. Leo teaches us to be bold and embrace our talents. Scorpio reminds us to trust our strategy and intuition, and Capricorn shows us that persistence and discipline are key to long-term success. Even if you don't fully buy into astrology, these traits are what help anyone succeed, especially during the last quarter of the year when the energy is ripe for growth. When I look back on my own experiences, I can see how these traits have played a role in my financial decisions. There have been moments where, like Leo, I had to step up and take the lead, and times when, like Scorpio, I needed to be strategic and not rush into anything. And of course, like Capricorn, I've learned the value of patience and hard work. October through December always feels like a time to reflect on what's worked, what hasn't, and what steps need to be taken next to ensure the momentum carries into the new year. For me, October is about finding balance, much like Libra, and making the most of the energy that's already in motion. Whether it's finalizing investments, launching something new, or simply reorganizing my finances, I use this time to realign and refocus. There's something about these last months of the year that always brings clarity, if you're paying attention. It's about setting yourself up for success, not just for now, but for the long term. You know, it's funny how things just seem to fall into place when the timing is right. I've always felt that certain moments in life are like windows of opportunity, especially when it comes to finances. October, for me, has often been one of those windows. There's this shift in energy, this subtle pull toward progress, whether you've been waiting for something to pay off or just laying the groundwork for future success. Take Libra, for instance. Libras are all about balance, and this month, that balance is going to reflect in their financial life. It's not just about receiving wealth, but also about what you do with it once it comes your way. I think about people like John Rockefeller, who amassed enormous wealth but used a good portion of it to uplift others. It's a great reminder that wealth isn't just about accumulating money. It's about creating harmony and positive impact. And that's something I try to keep in mind too. How do we use the resources we have to make things better for ourselves and for the people around us? Then there's Pisces, one of the most intuitive signs, and I've always admired how they seem to trust their gut in a way that others might second guess. Neptune, their ruling planet, is all about dreams and intuition, And when that energy is in full swing, it's almost like the universe is whispering to them, nudging them toward what they've always envisioned. I remember hearing about Warren Buffett's early days, how he always trusted his instincts, even when others thought he was making risky moves. He didn't follow the crowd. He followed his intuition, and it worked out pretty well for him. That's the kind of mindset that Pisces energy embodies this month. When your gut says, go for it, you listen, and it can lead to big financial breakthroughs. Scorpio, though, they approach everything with intensity, especially when it comes to money. October is a time of transformation for them, and it's fascinating to watch how their ability to dig deep into situations, to see what others can't, brings about real change. It's like they have this internal radar that detects opportunities no one else sees. I've seen this in action with people who, much like Carlos Slim, don't just build wealth. They strategically reinvent their financial life. And this month, Scorpios have the energy on their side to do just that. But what's interesting is that transformation doesn't stop with them. It ripples outward, benefiting those around them too. And then we get to Sagittarius, the eternal optimist. I love how Sagittarians have this infectious energy that just attracts good fortune. Jupiter, their ruling planet, is all about expansion, and this month, that expansion translates directly into financial opportunities. It's the perfect reminder that sometimes simply believing in the best possible outcome can open doors. Oprah Winfrey is a great example of this. She didn't just wait for success to happen. She visualized it, stayed optimistic, and worked toward it. And that's the vibe Sagittarians are stepping into this month. Keep focusing on the big picture, stay hopeful, and watch what unfolds. Capricorn, of course, takes a different approach. For them, it's always been about discipline and hard work. Saturn, their ruling planet, rewards patience, and this October, it's finally time for all that hard work to pay off. I've known Capricorns who have been grinding away for years, and when that breakthrough comes, it's not surprising at all. They've earned it. But I've also learned from them that with success comes responsibility. What you do with your wealth matters just as much as how you got it. Bill Gates, for example, built a massive fortune but turned a lot of his focus toward philanthropy. That's what makes Capricorn energy so powerful. Yes, they succeed, but they also look at the bigger picture and think about their legacy. Aquarius, meanwhile, is always ahead of the curve. They're the visionaries, the ones with ideas that seem almost too far out until they actually happen. Uranus, their ruling planet, is all about innovation and surprise, and this month, that energy brings them financial breakthroughs they might not have seen coming. I think of people like Elon Musk, who had ideas that many thought were crazy at first, but his ability to see the future, to innovate before others caught on, made him one of the wealthiest men in the world. Aquarians have that same energy right now, and it's all about trusting their vision, even when others don't fully get it yet. And finally, there's Taurus. Taurus energy is grounded, patient, and steady. Venus, their ruling planet, is shining brightly this month, bringing them the financial rewards they've been working toward. It's kind of like watching Warren Buffett in action. Slow, steady, and methodical. Buffett didn't get rich overnight, and Taurus understands that wealth built over time is the kind that lasts. It's a reminder to all of us that sometimes the best approach is the one that takes time and careful planning. But when it pays off, it's worth the wait. Each of these signs offers a different lesson when it comes to financial success, and while we might not all fit perfectly into one category, there's something we can take from each of them. It's about finding your own balance between patience, intuition, discipline, and vision. And for me, that's what this time of year is all about. Taking stock of what's working, what's not, and using the energy that's available to make smart, thoughtful decisions that lead to real, lasting success. I've always found it fascinating how small changes in our environment can create such big shifts in our lives, especially when it comes to money. You know, we often think of wealth as something we build through hard work, investments, or smart financial moves. And sure, those things matter. But what if I told you that where you place your money at home could have an impact on how much wealth you attract? It sounds a little out there, but hear me out. There's an energy flow in every space we live in, and when we understand how to tap into it, we can create opportunities for abundance to flow our way. The idea is pretty simple. Think of your home as an extension of yourself. Just like how your mindset influences your finances, the energy in your home can too. So let's get into 6 places around the house where you can strategically place money to help boost your financial flow. I've tried a few of these myself, and while it's not magic, there's definitely something to be said for aligning the physical space around you with your intentions for abundance. One of the easiest places to start is with a jewelry box. I used to think jewelry boxes were just for keeping things organized, but over time I started seeing them as symbols of wealth themselves. You've got precious metals like gold and silver sitting in there, items that have been tied to wealth and power for centuries. Imagine slipping a couple of $100 bills in there next to your jewelry. The energy of those metals, the history they carry, almost feels like they're charging the money with that same prosperous energy. It's subtle, but I swear every time I do this, it feels like I'm setting an intention to grow my wealth. It's less about hiding the cash and more about letting it absorb that positive, high-vibe energy. Another spot I'd never have thought of before is the hallway or entryway. But when you think about it, it makes total sense. These are the spaces where energy is constantly in motion, people walking in and out, moving around. It's like a little highway of energy flowing through your home. I've experimented with putting a small amount of money near the front door, just under a rug or in a decorative bowl. And sure, it might sound a little weird at first, but it's all about the flow of energy. The more movement there is in these spaces, the more active the energy becomes, and that energy starts to touch everything, including your money. I picture someone like Elon Musk walking into his busy office, his mind constantly racing with new ideas, and it's that kind of energy you want to bring into your financial life. When money sits in these active spaces, it's like it catches the energy in the air, amplifying your chances of attracting more. Now, here's one I can't ignore: the kitchen. We spend so much time here, cooking, eating, having conversations. It's the heart of the home. I've noticed that when I stash a little bit of cash in the kitchen, it just feels like it's soaking up all that warmth, all the good vibes. You've got family and friends around, creating this energetic hub of positivity, and it's like the money absorbs that energy and becomes a magnet for more. Just make sure the kitchen is clean and clutter-free. Trust me, I've learned the hard way that a messy kitchen disrupts that energy flow. Think of it like this. If you're growing something in a garden, you want to make sure the soil is healthy and rich. Same thing with your kitchen. Keep it in good shape, and the abundance will follow. Another thing I've started doing is keeping my spaces clear of clutter. It's something we all know we should do, but tend to ignore. The truth is, clutter creates stagnant energy, and stagnant energy blocks wealth from flowing in. It's like you're unintentionally putting up a wall between you and abundance. I remember walking into a friend's home office, and it was just chaos, papers everywhere, stuff stacked up in every corner. And yeah, they were struggling to keep things moving financially. But once they cleared things up, it was like a weight lifted, and opportunities started coming in. A clean, organized space invites fresh energy and allows money to flow more freely. Then there's the high places in your home, like the tops of bookshelves or cabinets. I'll admit, this one sounded a bit odd to me at first, but the more I thought about it, the more it made sense. Higher places carry elevated energy. It's why we associate height with success, power, and abundance. When I started placing cash up high, like on top of my bookshelf, it almost felt like I was giving it a chance to rise with that energy. And hey, it can't hurt, right? It's all about aligning with those uplifting vibes. Lastly, let's talk about mirrors. Now, this one is fun because mirrors are known for their ability to double and reflect energy. Placing cash in front of a mirror can create the illusion of having more money than you actually do. And that visual trick plays a powerful role in how you feel about abundance. It's almost like your mind starts believing that you already have more. And we all know how powerful our mindset is when it comes to attracting wealth. I've done this with small amounts of money just to test it out, and I have to say, it's a nice little boost in how I approach financial decisions afterward. These strategies might seem simple or even a bit unconventional, but they all tie back to one thing: energy. When we become more mindful of how energy moves through our space and start to align our actions with that flow, things begin to shift. It's not just about where you put your money, but how you respect and value it in your life. And that's something we can all tap into no matter where we are on our financial journey. When it comes to money, I've always believed there's more to it than just earning and saving. Over the years, I've noticed that small tweaks in how we handle and think about money can make a big difference. I used to wonder how some people seem to attract wealth effortlessly, while others work just as hard but feel like they're constantly swimming against the tide. And then, I stumbled upon this interesting idea about how the energy in our homes might be playing a role in our financial flow. I get it. It sounds a little out there. I was skeptical too at first, but as I started experimenting with these concepts, I realized that our living spaces are more than just rooms. They're energetic environments, and how we interact with those environments can either boost or block our wealth. So, I began exploring different places to put my money around the house, not just as a safe spot to store cash, but as a way to enhance the energy of abundance. It's like setting the stage for prosperity to show up. Let's take Kim Kardashian as an example. Imagine her placing a crisp $100 bill in front of one of those massive ornate mirrors she probably has in her home. The reflection in that mirror gives the illusion of double the cash. It's a small thing, but it's not just about the visual effect. It's about the energy. The mirror amplifies the energy around it, reflecting that sense of abundance. It's like telling the universe, "Look, I'm ready for more." I've tried this myself, and while I'm not saying mirrors alone will double your money, there's something powerful about seeing your wealth mirrored back to you. It creates this mental shift, a kind of quiet confidence that you're on the right track. What I found most helpful, though, is the idea of starting small. You don't need to be rolling in cash to test these theories. I started by placing a few small bills, $5, $10, $20, around my home, in the spots that feel energetically charged. And believe me, it's not about hiding money all over the house. It's more like a way to set intentions in places that carry strong energy. For example, tucking a $10 bill inside my jewelry box, surrounded by my favorite pieces, feels like I'm surrounding my money with the energy of wealth. It's a small step, but it's made me more mindful about how I view and handle my finances. The key here is intention. Every time I place money in these high-energy spots, I do it with purpose. I might even say a quiet affirmation like, "Money flows easily into my life." It's not about hoping for magic, but about aligning my actions and my environment with what I want to attract in the end. I think the whole point is to stay open to different ways of thinking about money. Whether you believe in the energetic power of mirrors, jewelry boxes, or the spaces in your home, it's really about being intentional with how you approach wealth. And for me, these little practices have made managing my money feel less like a chore and more like something I'm actively engaged in. It's a subtle change, but one that's made me feel more empowered in my financial journey.